We're going to move on to the next session, which is the students of TOSG, and this is the winner this week. We have 2 more pictures to talk about, but this is the winner, and we deliberated long in this thing between 2 pictures over here. And I'm going to show you both first, and then this was the other one that we both talked about, and this is the one that won it. And I immediately turned around and said to Sudhir that gives me a feeling of fire and ice, and there's fire and water, and the water is the actual literal with that water bottle. And we both thought that wide angle really does the trick. It looks nice with that door tilting away instead of trying to correct it, So Sudhir, what are your thoughts?
I thought that was the keystoning that you see in the architectural feel is deliberate. And even if it is not deliberate, it is natural. Like I said, post-COVID, many of these things are going to change. And we are we are ourselves creating a playbook of what should be in hotels and so on, what should we bring in, which brings the natural feel of people wanting to believe, because many of these are correctable that people will not believe. And a simple shift left can take it up, or any swing, a shift camera can do it.
Yes.
The other part I liked was the amazing balance of the cool blue tones, which is cold, and cold always recedes, right? And the warm tone is advancing, and I like the warm tone on the left, right up to the rim on the ear. You can see that as if he's lit up with a fiber optic light, and it's authentic, though he looks fixated. But the very fact he may be sitting, and that's why his leg is like that to the bottom, and he's looking to the refrigerator, and the refrigerator is not too, it is kind of slight burns in the highlights, and I love that because if it was an advertising shot, it would have been balanced so that there are no burnouts, and it would have taken the +2 or +3, but this is like a +4 EV, and I like that because it is natural, it is cinematic by itself, and this guy is looking in it, peering in it. It's a refrigerator, you feel like opening it, checking what all is inside that in his packages, and then you see the connection between the blue cyan door and the light coming through and the refrigerator, and you see a cupboard there. It is in the shadows, the almost -4, but with a slight pull, I think the shadows adds just enough depth. From the door towards the guy who's sitting there on the left, from the door you see on the floor there is a light softly raking in, and I thought that light was very important. It should be just that density, and that's what makes it so authentic. Then I look at the door itself and the light coming through. I like the bottle, as Shantanu was saying, the green bottle. And I wondered, is it a chemical bottle or is it a water bottle? And what kind of bottle? Why would they put that there? All that thing, that's what runs in your mind when you look at a scene like this. But the very fact that this guy is sitting down and going to the refrigerator, it draws me in and takes me to the picture, and it is together, it is picturesque, it is pictorial. And that makes it strong. You have all this abstract photography. Paul Stan brought in that kind of everything sharp kind of photography. Then you have the pictorials, and that lasted for a decade ago. It went off, but this has got that pictorial feel. Therefore, it is cinematic. Therefore, it has got value, and therefore there is a mind that is thinking and tugging between the cold further away scene and the warm advancing scene. And I thought that was important, and we can bring that story. This guy is. I don't know, girl or guy now. It looks like
Watson Sethi. He's from Agra. He was a 1-year student last year. He passed out last year, and he's been sending in entries. To me, Sudhir, what was the most intriguing and the most beautiful part of this? Because I saw movement in it. I saw a dark room, and then all of a sudden the fridge is open and you see the light, and bang, that's the shot. I can see that actually like a cinematic shot, because I can see that movement, the door opening and this light coming through, and that light, and all of a sudden the picture changes, because you were in a dark area with this blue thing, and all of a sudden you open the door and boom, it's fantastic. That feeling is really nice.
And I agree. That is a flow. That is a flow. You don't get stuck, and yet the right side is not too strong, so therefore you concentrate on the left. The balance is pretty good. Normally the tendency will be, let me give equal, 0 EV to both sides. No, I think it's just perfectly balanced. And I agree with you. It has that kind of cinematic feel.
And the movement I could see.
That's a flow. That's a flow.
So on to the next one, which is Yeah, sorry. You
Yeah.
want to? Okay, I'm going to the
Sure.
next one, which is by Mansi Gemaut. She's a current student, 1 year student,
Yeah.
in the 1 year program right now, and she's from Bangalore, and she shot this, I guess, at home. So yeah, it has a painting feel to it, the color tones and everything. And Sudhir will take you through the other things.
Is she an artist, designer? What is she?
Well, I'm
Okay.
not sure, but she's
Okay.
she's done some kind of art course, I think.
Okay,
That's what I
I'll
remember.
just,
Yeah,
I'll tell you why I'm
yeah,
asking.
yeah.
Well, in this shot, I started thinking about the character. You obviously start
Yeah.
thinking about the character. It looks
Yeah.
very innocuous. It looks very orthodox, but in my opinion,
Yeah.
it is unorthodox. And I'll tell you
Yes.
why. You know, the chair. Look at the legs of the chair. The three legs that you
Yes.
can see. The fourth you can't
Yes.
see, of course. And I felt that had a design element. Look at the laundry basket, and
Yeah.
it's not an ordinary wicker basket.
Yeah.
It had certain elements that needed to be highlighted to be seen. And
Yes.
when you look at the table and the shape of the table, it's kind of oblique, and it is not a simple, straight down kind of table. So there is a kind of a value in that picture. The painting the photograph that I saw there, maybe perhaps Himalayan, there's a white border around, and I thought that helps also to show the sensibility of the person in there. I'm able to see a lot of the character right up to the cardigan or the pullover hanging on the door. You know, and that simple thing, white, and that shadows, that mask, I mean, it was very Nat Geo in the way it's telling its story. And then, of course, the computer is there. But the way the light comes in, it kind of cuts across and, it grazes across the text of the wicker, softly wraps around the chair, goes under the floor. The lines that you see, the bar lines of the window, starts expanding, but as it goes and climbs up the wall at the end, which could be a curtain or a formica door. I think it's a curtain, but it maybe formica door. But it gets narrower because that's how the trajectory of light is. And then I look at the white at the bottom, and I see, oh, this is okay. So there's a naturalness in that white section. So you tend to open, and then you see, and I felt this is so well balanced, because the most powerful aspect of this picture is what Michelangelo and Da Vinci describes, is what is your point of view? Are you standing? Are you looking down? Are you middle? And that is the genius in the shot, because this person has knelt down slightly, decided on a certain angle, decided that light was coming a certain way, must have spent days trying to get the right trajectory of days, because this, like I said, it needs patience. And then decided, this is how my compositional photographic elements will be. And it's not just a casual shot. And this is why I entreat students, don't look at anything as casual. You are so lucky to hold a camera. And that's an amazing tool. Now, but also remember, any camera can do it. And the other day I did speak. I mean, even a mobile is amazing. And you can take that, and as long as you are thinking, I'm saying the mobile shouldn't stop you from thinking. As long as the thinking is there, you won't believe Samuel Bell does not know lighting. He's one of the most successful Nat Geo photographers, but he uses a tripod so that he can think. And he only decided to shoot 35 all his life. And 15 years of his first life was black and whites. This is so monochromatic. Its sheer power is in the color tones in color. It is a completely shade of color, and just with whatever is left in its monochromacity is what is telling the picture. Even a beautiful black and white would do the same job.
Correct.
So it had just enough tones just to give that feel, and just to tell you the story. I am this character who stays in this kind of a room. This is my dig, and this is how I like the light coming into my room, and I feel so peaceful and so loved in this room. And I thought that was the power. And the diagonal lines on the floor, especially the light lines, gives it the dynamism. It's a straight shot, but there's a dynamism created by the lines and the way it went, like I said, in the wicker and so on, and characterized each element in the visual element in this picture. So this is visuance at its height. It is the high ground of photography. If this person takes it further.
No, I'm sure she will. And I think,
please don't stop. This is like amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's one more. This is the last one of the lot from one more student, Siddhant Vaz, who's a first year student in a 3-year course. He's a bit lazy, but I'm surprised at this lovely work. He's very lazy. He always makes excuses, but this is a good excuse.
Very good.
I must say it's a
I would
job.
catch his buggers and give them one.
Yeah.
Get them to sit ups.
I know.
Because
We've got to do
I
that.
think the genius. My job is only to bring out this, the beauty of
the
the
good
star.
part of it. Yeah. That's why we
So,
said
last
this
step,
kid needs
I don't
encouragement. He needs encouragement. He's got to work towards making better pictures.
Every work I've seen is amazing, and I'll tell you about this picture. I liked it. It looks very simplistic, but it's not. It looks like a simple shot, just taken like that. But again, this is what Norman McGrath used to do. And I remember once McGrath had come out, and we both are having lunch, and we discussed so much on simple kind of rendering of a picture. You know, there is light that comes into the window. Look at the way it's expanding as it comes below. There's a lot of depth in that. Now look at the way it rakes across the left pillar alone in one section on the top. Look at the way it goes around the backside of both sides of the columns. It's telling a different story on the left wall of that column, the shadow. The right wall, it doesn't not looking like the left wall. So I would like to look more and more at it. And yet, when I look to those little jolly work, there is a lot of depth in it. And I've seen some amazing shots done for builders, great architects, where this kind of photography has helped them a lot, especially in the US and most recently in Bangalore, and I'm sure all over the country. And I think this mind must be allowed to carry on with both symmetric and asymmetric thinking, and how you can start looking at a different kind of way, because this is what some of the masters do. And please believe you are a master. I mean, you guys are among the masters, and this guy, sometimes, see, when did Warren Buffett come up and all these guys? 8 and 9 years, he found his passion. 8 and 9 years, they don't wait for 11. By 11, he knew all the economic books in the entire library in that part of the US he was staying. So by children, you should know, and people should kick your ass if you don't move. And this is when this whole thing happens. So we all knew our route. By the time I was 11, I was a master in photography in black and white printing, just by watching it from 8 years old from outside a jolly window. And I said, I can do this blow up. And I'm saying there are people, everyone does it the same way because they knew the calling. I remember once watching Shantanu, and he was watching a Titan watch, and he just looked at it like this and said, this is the way the light goes, specular this and that. You don't remember, but I remember. Then we all came out of it. Yeah, you remember. And that stuck with me, and I used to tell people, just look at it now. Have you looking at it? And that's how geniuses are made. All they do is stop, listen, and look at it, and go on looking at it. I think there is in this picture a lot of young mind. I don't know how old this guy is, but there's a lot of young. He needs to be pushed. He needs to be kicked ass and brought up to be how awesome he can really be. I think this is great.
Yeah, well, self-belief, there's a lack of self-belief and drive very often. I don't know what happens. Maybe they talk to the wrong people within the group. But I think, look, if a person can do a shot like this, there has to be something in the person, is what I believe. And as you rightly say, we need to extract everything out of them. And that's our mission, to extract.
I'm glad because you brought in these kind of people, and because they're participating both from inside and outside. Can you imagine this kind of rendering? You're giving them the techniques and so on, but you can't make the horse drink and say, this is how you've got to create. So you can tell them what all you got to do for that passion. But don't listen to 100% of the people. Extract what you want and leave out your peers behind, because they're not important in your life journey. They're not going to be around. And do what you feel, and listen to certain masters and pull out whom you want and score the world. I traveled the whole world and just sat with masters. There's no master I didn't sit with. And I talked to Katya Prasad. Many people can't boast that. You name it, no one whom I felt very connected. Before ATM Flowers and all came here, I went to the houses, and Brian Lattick and took them to Sai Baba, and then took them to NID, and we held workshops together in NID. How did we do all that? So there has to be the kind of passion now, and you get connected and keep on sharing the good things. There is so much promise in the work I saw. Not a single work I can say no. And you saw how, I felt so bad because I feel art is something you cannot, so this is bad or this is high. And
Yeah.
so, but we had to take a decision, as you rightly said.